I will call to order tonight's meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners on the 17th day of March 2025. If you would please join me, stand for a moment of silence followed by a Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
All right, Commissioner Carpenter with the motion. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved. All right, we have the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
All right, with Commissioner Patton. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the consent agenda is approved. Now we will go to Planning Board. We'll have Andrew tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Tonight we have results of planning board recommendations from two cases that they made recommendations on March 10th. The first case was zoning map amendment number 746. The Lincoln County Planning and Inspections Department was the applicant, and this was the request that that initially zoned the 86 parcels coming from Catawba County to Lincoln County. The planning board voted unanimously to recommend this request. And a statement of consistency and reasonableness is attached to your packet. Any questions?
Okay, anyone have any questions for Andrew? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
I make a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve ZMA 746 Lincoln County Planning and Inspections applicant as recommended by the planning board.
okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is UDO Amendment 2025-1, Lincoln County Planning and Inspections Department as the applicant. This was an amendment to align the by right and special use permit designations for recreational uses from the standard use table with the Eastern Lincoln Development Table. This was essentially a definitional alignment of those to make sure that they were consistent and there were eliminated conflicts within the document itself. The planning board had voted 6-0 to recommend approval of this request, and the proposed statement of consistency and reasonableness is attached for your consideration. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness presented by the planning board.
I'll make a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any discussion? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
That is approved. Now I will entertain a motion to approve UDO 2025 Lincoln County Planning and Inspections.
I'll also make that motion to approve the UDO number 2025-1 Lincoln County Planning and Inspections applicant is recommended by the planning board.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. It is approved. Thank you.
You all.
Okay, next we will move on to item number 4, informational overview of the Lincoln County Historical Association and
Try that again.
yeah, let me try that. Ms. Howell and Ms. Gregory.
Laura will come up with me if you have any questions.
Okay.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me and allowing us to come and talk to you a little bit about what we're doing, and it's been suggested that we come several times to tell you what we're doing. So I'm going to present the scope and the measure of what we do. So my only job for tonight is to present an update of the activities over the past year and to forecast our plans for the next fiscal year. Since the LCHA was chartered in 1955 by city and county leaders, we have worked to collect those objects that would otherwise leave Lincoln County for other collections. In other words, they're leaving the county and going to NC State or other places where they should not be. We collect what we can, we preserve what we can, and of course serve as a resource for sharing our collection as a cultural resource for all citizens. Our mission, in a nutshell, is to collect, preserve, and share. You can see that we do that through object donations and acquisitions, large and small. This could include a scrap of a King's grant, a land grant, or as large as a house. Caring for sacred spaces such as the Plunk Family Cemetery and Whitehaven Cemetery, creating exhibits that highlight our shared heritage, opening our doors to researchers, and publishing a newsletter, which you probably get this in your mail. Anybody recognize? Hosting speakers and producing events such as the Battle of Ramseur's Mill Living History Weekend, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. As you can see, our collection is quite vast. Special collections include the Clyde Cornwell collection of photographs, the Philip Leonard collection, the Alfred Nixon collection, the Harlan Bowles collection, he was state treasurer, the Helen Peeler and Gaither Shrum collections, and many more, representing Lincoln County families and events past and present. Our following is always growing. Heritage tourism, I don't know if you're familiar with the term heritage tourism, is a real thing, and Lincoln County is in the right place to deliver history to residents and visitors. What we found through researching other counties and from our users is that people expect a county to have some source of local history research. We work hard to fulfill our mission. With one part-time staffer and a passionate volunteers contributing well over 3,000 hours per year last year. The work is fulfilling, and we believe the community benefits from and appreciates our efforts. So our highlights from last year include the Battle Weekend that we produced with the help of the sons and daughters of the American Revolution, local reenactors, and demonstrations in and around the Christian Reinhardt cabin near the Battleground Elementary School. We also host tour groups for historic walks around downtown Lincolnton, and those have been very successful and well received. For an example, we are hosting the local homeschool students and their parents for a historical walk on April the 2nd. Each fall, we invite an author to give a presentation and sign their books. In November 2024, we invited author Betty Reed to speak on Rosenwald schools at Mount Vernon Baptist Church, the site of the Mount Vernon Rosenwald School that is being preserved. Other authors have included Stan Carpenter and Sharon McCrum, which you probably have heard of. We held our second annual pottery market at the Cultural Center, which will expand next year to include more exhibitors. Eventually, we hope to move it to the Citizen Center because we hope to grow it to that size that it becomes a regional event. And along with the Vesuvius Furnace chapter of the DAR and Jason Harp, we completed the first phase of the reconstruction of the Peter Forney Cemetery in the eastern end of the county. We also support programs for the Lincoln County Senior Center. Our burning of the baggage in its 4th year at Battleground. This is a good time during the winter months to open up the cabin, air it out, and invite people to come. We have reenactors, and it has really grown in size. Now, each year, the Leadership Lincoln Group enjoy their History Theme Day by spending it with us and visiting and learning about various sites in the county. Our Al DeCrow exhibit continues to draw visitors, but we are in the planning stages of our next exhibit. which will be a theme to coincide with America 250. Lincoln County 250 will feature a great number of our artifacts and will tell the story of Lincoln County from the iron industry to cotton, government, and culture. And of course, last year we were happy to be able to add a part-time office manager, Sarah Sane. So I hope you'll come by and meet her. She is really, really good with our guests. Big help. A big highlight of 2024 was the Timken Foundation grant. The $90,000 gift has allowed us to add the first ever heating and cooling system to the doctor's house on West Main Street. Repair the molding, restore the windows, and paint inside and out. This is an 1810 circa house. It's in pretty good shape for its age, a project that is currently underway. We ordered a paint analysis of the inside paint through the years and will soon begin that process, and that will be the last thing we do before we can open the house for regular visitors, but we do plan to have regular hours at the doctor's house. Speaking of the doctor's house, we were proud to be asked to participate in the 2024 Speak Up for Children Holiday Tour of Homes, and we were pleased to hear that many people said it was their favorite stop in the tour. And you may or may not have heard, but in 2024, we were able to acquire from a collector the original clockwork from the 1853 Old Red Courthouse. And yes, it still keeps time. It's on display in our exhibit space, and that's another big highlight from 2024. For the coming year, we're looking forward to a workshop honoring the Catawba Valley pottery tradition, Making Faces with Michael Ball. We're going to have that on April the 12th. That sold out in 2 days. We have more work to do at the Peter Forney Cemetery, including a stacked stone wall and commemorative plaque. In the works is a project to restore a pair of portraits of Mr. and Mrs. Jacob Forney. The painting and window project continues, and I've already mentioned the new exhibit, Lincoln County 250. And then we have these things that we keep up on a regular basis: the Plunk Family Cemetery, which the county owns, the Whitehaven Cemetery, which the county owns, preservation and maintenance at the Forney Cemetery, oversight of the Mundy House, cleaning and maintenance at the Reinhardt Cabin and Herb Garden, and Tabernacle Methodist Cemetery, which is a future preservation project. We hope you'll come see us. We're open 3 days a week, including a Saturday, and special hours by appointment. Besides our regular hours, we're happy to host local social groups, school groups, and researchers at any time. Again, thank you for having us tonight and giving us your time. I appreciate it, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions?
For any questions, just for the audience that may be watching this from home, could you give the address of the museum that you'll be open?
The museum is at 403 East Main Street, which is in the Cultural Center building. The doctor's house is right over here, catty corner. No, I'm thinking I'm in the other building. Is at 202 West Main Street. It's that big box, looks like a big cracker box. 1810. You should come see it. It's beautiful.
Can you give us any kind of an update on what's going on with the church over on Campground Road? I know there's been a lot of discussion about that.
Let's see if Matt is here. No. All I know from that is that we support the pause of the Methodist Conference to see if we can get some preservationists in there and see what really can be done with the church. We just want them to wait and don't get in a big hurry.
So I got a couple phone calls, obviously, and
Have you?
wrote some letters and asked them nicely. And Jay, gosh, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he used to be a deputy sheriff here. Met with the Methodist folks, and apparently that was a good meeting and it worked well.
It did. I'm glad that it is coming along the way it has. The conference seemed to be very adamant about doing what they were going to do until some some very interested people got involved, and we're just one of many who have said, let's put a pause on it. Any other questions?
I think we're good. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next on the agenda is insurance renewal estimate for July 1, 2025 through June the 30th, 2026. Jason Bradshaw and Brittany Abernathy.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have Jason Bradshaw with USI. They are insurance broker. We are here tonight to request that you approve our current insurance plan for FY26, which would run from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Jason has created a presentation that he is going to go through with each of you, and then any questions you may have at the end, we are happy to answer.
Thank you, Brittany. Commissioner? Is that better? Thank you. Is it going to pull up?
Maybe.
Here we go. So we've been working on this since November 2024 with County Manager, HR, and Finance, and I kind of want to point out some key metrics to date as we get into the recommendation for the upcoming fiscal year. If we can go to the next slide, please. So based on our negotiation with Blue Cross, we've been able to hold their fixed costs, so what they charge every year as your administrator for the third straight year. We're actually in some final negotiations to see if they'll extend that for another 5-year period. So absolutely interested in a long-term relationship with the county, leveraging their network, which is still the best in the state as far as network discounts go, provider access, hospital, physicians, et cetera. So those have been a positives for sure. The really good metric to point out from a benefit and claim perspective is that we're seeing some things that the county's put in place really starting to bear some fruit. So as David's pointed out in a lot of our conversations, controlling what you can, so use of the health clinic, et cetera. Some of the data that we've seen this year compared to last would prove that. So your per employee per year claims are down almost 19%. And again, that's a good budget number to use based on your workforce. So prior year was a little over $11,000. We're at $9,000 this year. And I think it's always to compare to what we see from our other clients and nationally. We see that national average of a per employee per year roughly at about $10,000 per employee, and that range between $10,000 and $12,500. So we've seen Lincoln be on the higher end of the average to actually below that, going from prior year to current plan year. Our total net cost has actually improved as well, so that's your gross claim spend, offset by your pharmacy rebates and stop-loss reimbursements. We're down up almost 19% from the prior year. We still have an outlier with some high claimants. Again, that's really driven performance in the only probably negative aspect of the claim. Our high claimants, which are defined as those over $97,500 in paid claims, they make up about 29% of our total. We're still doing a pharmacy audit with our vendor partner Quest. That should be complete within the next month or so. Those estimated rebates are coming in over $400,000. We'll provide that detailed audit once that has been complete. And again, as I alluded to, the increased use of the health clinic, again, controlling what you can with the resources you have, that's a huge thing, both short and long term, in helping to get those costs continue to go down year over year. Next slide. So when we're looking at the rest of the industry in general and comparing to how you're performing, I do want to point out some key metrics. So our current medical trend or inflation is about 7%, 6.9. Pharmacy's higher. It has been trending higher for the past 5 years. It's at 9.9. So combined trend or inflation is about 8%. So what I tell clients is, again, even in a good claims performance year, you're still going to look at inflation of 8%. So think about apples to oranges. Wages are going up, but inflation is still outpacing that. That's why we have to continue to look at ways to just improve the overall health and well-being of our participants on the plan. We are still working to firm up and finalize the stop loss. It is with the incumbent Blue Cross. This has no impact on the benefits, how folks use their plan. This is really just the fixed cost on your reinsurance that takes place behind the scenes. We just want to make sure that's the best contract and the best pricing possible. Again, Blue Cross is your incumbent. We're looking at other potential stop loss reinsurers like Voya, Optum, HCC, or Sun Life. So again, no impact to our plan participants from a benefit perspective at all. So our projection on those fixed costs related to stop loss based on claims, market trends and inflation was about $175,000 in an additional cost of the plan. which is actually low compared to what we're seeing in the market. Blue Cross's initial number was about $514,000. So that has definitely come down. I don't have a final number yet. So the recommendation was to kind of fall somewhere in the middle of a best case scenario, worst case, around $344,500. Outside of having just our outlier high cost claimants, we would have been very confident in recommending a decrease this year. So again, things are going in the right direction. So again, last bullet point, our recommendation would be no change to the employee benefits or their contributions based on a fixed cost increase of around $344,000 or 2.9%. And again, the last slides are just the benefits that will remain unchanged for your participants. Any questions?
Who does our workman's compensation?
Sedgwick.
That's not part of this discussion tonight.
No, it is not.
Thank you.
We are a part of the NCACC, a pool, and they provide Sedgwick as a workers' comp provider to us through that pool.
Okay, anyone have any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the insurance renewal estimate, July the 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, as presented.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Patton. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed, say no. All right. The ayes have it. It is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Next, we will have the renewal agreement between Lincoln County and the Institutional Medical Services. Sheriff Bill Beam will present.
Okay, I don't think we've ever to do this before, but this is our medical service provider, our online and on-service doctor. We have nurses that are there at our facility for the next year, starting in July of this coming year. Currently, we're paying $317,240 a year for the medical services there at the jail, and this will be going up by $15,862 per year in the next year's contract, which will be starting on July 1st of this coming year. If you've got any questions, I know that you've got some of these things that are already in your packet that kind of highlights exactly what the services are, what the services maybe were last year. We've been with this company since around 2006. Any questions that I can help you with?
Does anyone have any questions for Sheriff?
Sheriff, would you explain a little bit while you're standing here? I know some of our citizens may not understand that we are required to provide this medical stuff for our inmates. Can you kind of elaborate on that real quick?
Yes. Of course, anytime there's an inmate that's in our care, we are burdened with all of the medical expenses, and if they have to have emergency surgery, which we have sometimes. I know one person had to have a leg amputated this past year, which was a huge cost that, that there's no way that you can prepare for that. And we have that to happen on a semi-regular basis. Anything that the doctors don't feel like they can handle there at the jail or with a nurse, then they automatically say you need to take them to the emergency room, which we go. And at that time, not only are we paying for the medical costs, but we have to keep a person with them there at the hospital for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week while they're there. So it's quite a huge expense. And it's one of the parts of the budget that you can never kind of nail down. It always comes and goes with the wind. Sometimes we have really good years when we don't have a lot, just like the insurance guys talking about the employees' insurance. And so my folks are not nearly as healthy. Sometimes they don't think our employees are healthy. Well, I'll promise you the group that I've got are not nearly in as good a shape as our employees.
Thank you, Sheriff.
My motel is full, by the way, and we're adding on.
Thank you.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the renewal agreement between Lincoln County and the Institutional Medical Services.
So moved, sir.
All right, we have the motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? All right, the ayes have it, so it is approved. So now we will move to item number 7, approval of sole source purchase of a mobile PA system for Lightspeed Technologies for the West Lincoln Library. Dr. Jennifer Sackett will present.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here this evening to ask for approval for the sole source purchase of the mobile PA system from Lightspeed Technologies. This is a system that the library already uses. It's a unique system that is mobile in the sense that it doesn't just amplify the sound, it takes the vibration of your voice, and so it doesn't just turn up the volume real loud to blast. It actually makes it sound like I'm talking right in front of you, even though you may be at the back of the room. Since this is building on the existing system, we are asking approval to purchase this so it's compatible with the other components we already use through the library. And this was budgeted as part of the capital last year.
Okay, anyone have any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. It is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we will move to item number 8, approval of FY25 general purpose funds. Catherine Sane.
Good evening.
Good
And
evening.
happy St. Patrick's Day. We did have green on earlier today. I had some super cool green shoes on, but I figured I should look like a grown-up tonight, so I did keep on my earrings, though. So the first grant that I'm going to present to you is our general purpose grant. This is reoccurring state funds that come to senior centers or that is open and available to senior centers. Depending on your level of programming that you do, you get certain tiers of this money. Because we do the highest level of programming, we receive 3 shares of the pot that is split to all the different senior centers across the state of North Carolina. On average, they host about 15 different activities a week. We're averaging 22, 23. Not only are we doing in-person, but we're also doing virtual, which is something that we started during COVID and we continue to do to try to reach people that are, homebound or not able to come to the center. So this year, it has gone up just a little bit. We will still receive those 3 shares because we are Senior Center of Excellence. We will receive about $11,100 in additional funding for programming. There is a 25% county match, which is about $3,700. I will be putting that towards salaries so that to offset some of that county impact. So the total will be $14,800. And with that, I'll yield to any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It is approved.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And you're next.
Yeah, I'm here for 2 more.
Okay.
All right, so the next grant that I'm going to be presenting to you guys is from the North Carolina Department of Insurance. It's through the Senior Medicare Patrol Project. And what this grant is going to do is help fund shredding events and fraud events across the county to educate Medicare beneficiaries and just Lincoln County residents in general how sensitive information can get out there and be harmful to you. So we'll do a shredding event in April that's going to coincide with the opening games of senior games. So we'll have a shred truck there. And then we're also going to do an actual event in May during Older Americans Month. Well, we'll have vendors come into the senior center. We're going to have speakers come in. We usually try to have somebody from the Sheriff's Department. We'll give away some shredders and some other things to residents so they can keep their personal information protected. So that grant is $5,600, and there is no county match for that.
Okay, anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Is that going to be the 26th where
Yes.
the shredder truck's going to be?
Yes.
Good.
It will be at East Lincoln Community Center on Optimist.
That's a great place for it to be.
Yeah.
Because I can't seem to get Andrew to get me one.
I figured we had a captive audience, and we need to do stuff on all sections of the county. So if we have some of that $5,600 after we do East Lincoln and at the senior center, we will hopefully talk with somebody over in the western part, maybe at the library, to do a truck out in the western section too.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved, sir.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No? All right, the ayes have it. That is approved.
Thank you.
All right,
All right.
one more.
And one more. So this is from Medicare, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This is the MIPA grant, and what MIPA stands for is Medicare Improvement for Patients and Providers Act. So what this grant will allow us to do is hold some outreach events in low-income areas to educate Medicare beneficiaries to programs and services that can help lower their drug costs. We can get them signed up for low-income subsidies or some Medicare savings plans to help them each month on their drug costs. There is no match for this one either. The total amount that we were awarded was $4,239. So with that, I'll open up to any questions.
Any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. It is approved. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
All right, we will move on to item number 11, Amendment 2 to the East Lincoln Water Transmission Main Contract for additional design services, including 60%, 90, and final design work permitting easement acquisition and bidding. Jonathan.
Sorry about the long title.
That's
I just
fine.
wanted to make sure you guys knew what this amendment was for, because I have been before you with the first amendment, which was to add on some additional surveying to this contract. This is actually the next phase of that East Lincoln transmission main project. I'll remind the board what that project is. It's the 24-inch main that will go from the water treatment facility all the way down to our Optimist Club tank to better supply the southeastern portion of the county. This contract will be for $1,366,000. It will take us all the way through bidding of that transmission main. The services and monies are in line with what we would expect to see on a contract this amount. So I know it's a large number, but we are still within 10% of what the projected construction costs are. Do I have any questions that I can answer for you guys?
Anyone have any questions for Jonathan?
One other thing I will mention is we will be holding a public meeting to formally introduce this project to the residents that will be affected with the start of this phase of the project. Now that we kind of got a nailed down alignment that we are moving forward with.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Patton. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. It is approved. Thank you. Item number 12, Same Family Library Vertical Construction Guaranteed Maximum Price. John Henry.
Good evening, Commissioners. The board accepted the GMP for early civil package back in November. J.M. Cope issued an open bids as CM&R. We performed scope reviews with them with all low bid subs. We had 4 low bidders that were rejected as non-responsive. 2 did not include addendum 4, 1 did not include all documents, and 1 did not include a complete scope. We are asking that you accept this GMP number 2 for vertical construction in the amount of $11,486,474. This does not include FF&E cost, and it also does not include the DOT required turning lanes. And this brings our total GMP on this project to $13,572,912.
Do you have any idea what the turn lane would cost?
We're in about the $500,000 range. I'll bring that back to the board once we get a firm number on that.
Okay, what about the FF&E cost?
FF&E is outside of the construction, so it doesn't go into the GMP, but we're in the $750,000 to $1 million range.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for John?
I do. This is the money we received from the state in reference to building. So we're going to be good, what, that 18 million?
Yes,
that we
sir.
received? Okay.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the Sane Family Library Vertical Construction Guaranteed Maximum Price, GMP.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, we'll move to item 13, approval of auditor and audit contract for fiscal year 26. Deanna?
Good evening, Commissioners. I know we're not even done with the budget, but we're already talking audit. So this is the proposal from our auditors, Martin Starnes and Associates, for the audit for fiscal year 25, which will be done in fiscal year 26. The amount of the audit is quoted to be $131,120. That does include 10 major programs, and whether or not a program is major just depends on the amount of money that was spent on it or what type it is. There's several programs in DSS that are major regardless. And then it depends on like lottery funds, how much we receive every year, things like that. I think last year we had 8 to 10 major programs. So it's comparable to last year. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved, sir.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It is
Thank
approved.
you.
Thank you. All right, item number 4 is public comments. This is where you get the opportunity to speak to the commission concerning any matter. If you are speaking for yourself, you get 3 minutes. If you're speaking for a group, you get 5. And if you are speaking with a group, we're going to ask that the group stand up while you're speaking so they can be identified. And all I have on the list is Gunny Hull.
County Commissioners, Jenny Hull from 319 North Poplar Street here in Lincoln. I want to address to you concerning representing a group of 15,304 people. Basically, what this is the people from the president of the President Trump MAGA Common Sense Initiatives has been made for our county, but I'm asking, demanding that you utilize these in Lincoln County. Some of them may be a little bit different under your scope, but one of them's in wasteful use of taxpayers' money. The second one is ridding the county of illegal occupants. The third one is ending radical and wasteful DEI program and hiring based on merit only. Ending radical indoctrination in our K through 12 school with concentration on patriotism and common sense education, eliminating Common Core, which has been used in under different names today, and those sodomite books in our libraries, declaring that there are only 2 sexes, 2 genders, male and female, and keeping males out of female sports in the bathrooms and dressing rooms. We had that as far as HB2, if you remember what that was. Therefore, marriage is between one man and one woman per the Constitution of North Carolina, Amendment 1. Genesis 1:27 says that Yahweh created a male and female. Thus, we also have a Declaration of Independence states natural laws of nature, nature's God, our creator. Ending COVID-19 mandates in schools, Also, implement of the death penalty without protecting, or by protecting public safety. Restoring prayer at local meetings, or calling and praying in Jesus' name, which is our creator and divine providence, also by the Constitution or Declaration of Independence. Some points, again, as I said, may be out of your authority, but not out of your influence. And as our lesser magistrates here in the county, it is your job and responsibility to restore and demand true freedom, justice, and liberty. Be warned, it is not, if not standing for and promoting above initiatives, you will be held accountable, if not in this life, but certainly in the next. So I challenge you to issue a proclamation stating that Lincoln County, North Carolina, will adhere to and support these common sense initiatives. You have probably heard also of Hebrews 9:27, and it says, "It is appointed a man once to die, and after that's the judgment." What I'm declaring to you here from Scripture, that judgment is not a trial, but it is a time for sentencing. And Yahweh is going to judge every thought, intention of our heart. So, and he's going to judge us by his commands, his laws, and his ordinances. So I take that very serious. And like I said, the people of 15,304 voted for Amendment 1.
Thank you. With just one being signed up, is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, come to the front and state your name and address.
Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Widows.
If you would speak into the microphone there, sir.
Steve Widows, 1415 Depot Street, Iron Station, North Carolina.
Okay, go ahead.
I have some thoughts along the same lines as what Alan was just speaking about. I know President Trump. I feel like that God has right now put in front of us, put us on a plateau, a level, flat plateau right now in this country. And I thank God for doing that. I thank him for doing that. A plateau where it's a little bit safe. And I thank President Trump for the things that he's done, the orders that he's put, order after executive order after order, cleaning that plateau out and pushing some of the demons over into the ditch at the side of the road. And they're just gnashing their teeth, wanting to get back up on that platform, but they can't do it. Hallelujah for God. I'm thankful for that. And what I would like to see you do, I'd like to see you make some executive orders, some proclamations. You say, I would like to see you do that. Now, I've wrote one here. This is just an example. Lincoln County Commissioners, we make the proclamation that there are two genders. Gender cannot be changed by pretending. It's an abomination for a man to put on woman's clothing and to pretend to be a woman. Neither adult nor child shall be forced or manipulated to pretend gender pronouns. That's just common sense. We shouldn't be made, somebody say, well, you've got to use this pronoun for something you know is a sin and abomination in front of God, and everybody knows that somebody's just pretending. That's not fun. 30 years ago, just 30 years ago, somebody said that. They would say, you're crazy. Nobody's going to do something that silly as that. But now it takes the President of the United States to make some kind of change to that to get back to sanity. And so I'm just calling on Lincoln County, the God-fearing men and women here that's in front of me right now, to think about what your grandfather was doing and do that. Make some proclamations. I'd just make a proclamation right now. A man that's pretending that he's being going to be a woman is not something that's good. That's a proclamation. I just made a proclamation. I made a proclamation about that. You can do that. I pray that you will do that. Hallelujah. Glory to God.
Thank you, sir.
That's the end of it, right?
Yes, sir. That's your 3 minutes. Is there anyone from the Boy Scouts that would like to speak about anything? Okay. All right. So that's the end of public comment then. Now we will move to the finance report. Deanna?
One of the gentlemen left his Bible up here. Okay. Good evening again. Tonight you have before you the finance report through December. I'm a little behind. I admit, I'm a little behind. I'll have you another report next month, at the next meeting for January and then February. But for December, which is halfway through the fiscal year, we recognize some good interest earnings, a little over 1.8 million. We had $815,000 left in the pooled interest account at the end of December. It has been allocated since then. We budgeted $1.8 million this year in the general fund interest revenue account, so we have hit that number. Ad valorem taxes for the fiscal year were budgeted at almost $89 million. Tax collections through December were at $79 million, and remember, they had until January 6th, so there's still quite a bit that comes in January. Sales taxes for fiscal 25 are budgeted at $33.4 million. We had received not quite $13 million, and that is only for 4 collection months, because as you remember, sales tax comes in a couple months behind. Total revenues of the general fund are at 71, almost 72%. Expenditures were at 46. Utility fund revenues are a little over half, and expenses were at 44. And solid waste fund revenues were at 92.11 due to the fee, and then expenses were almost 40%. As you know, we've met with most departments finalizing their budget request for 26, and this Friday we will be meeting with you all in the afternoon going over more. Are there any questions on the December report?
Any questions?
Thank you so much.
Okay, next on the agenda is the county manager report. Mr. Madden.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. My report is only slightly longer than the amendment title that Jonathan Drazenovich presented to you, so only partially. So a couple of project updates. I want to say the Animal Service Facility is in design and waiting for the GMP from Hickory Construction for our next phase. The auditorium at the Citizen Center has a base cover complete, and we've installed moving lights. We're excited about that because that's really going to add to the features there. The lobby should be finalizing this month, the overhaul and redesign of the lobby. I would really encourage the commissioners to visit once that's completed. I think you'll be really happy with what's going on there. And also just give you an update on the Academy Street flag plaza that you guys approved a while back. The bid opening will be on April the 3rd. I also want to share with the board that about 9 months ago, the county was met with Golden Leaf Foundation through the county manager's office to try to look at grant opportunities to help build workforce readiness and capability for our county. And I encouraged Atrium, the Lincoln County Public Schools, and Gaston College. We support. I have to approve the grant proposals and submit them to the Golden Leaf. I encourage them to apply. They did come together. Gaston College was the lead. They wrote this grant. They applied for a workforce readiness program, and I'm happy to say that they received a grant of over $1 million. And this will be to build a partnership with what they call the Lincoln County Health Academy, which will assist in training nurse, EMT, paramedic workforce. And that's specifically, as you know, something that we're having struggles with. It's a nationwide problem, but this will help facilitate, I think, some more workforce-ready people in our community. Also, the county pursued the America's 250th birthday. And that assignment was given to our PAO, Vanessa, and she went out for that grant for that, and we were awarded $10,000 to celebrate America's 250th birthday for that occasion coming up. As Deanna said, The Board of Commissioner budget retreat will be this Friday, beginning at noon. So that's March the 21st at noon. Here, same time, same channel. And I do have one more thing, but I'd like to wait and let Commissioner Lineberger address some stuff, and then I may comment on that if you'll indulge me.
All right. So next is Ms. Gilbert, County's Attorney Report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. So mine is very short, just a brief update. I have finalized the animal services ordinances updates. I have sent those over to Jana to review. And then once I get the final go from her, I will send them to the county manager to review, and then we will get that before you guys, hopefully in the next few months. That will require 2 meetings because there are going to be criminal charges associated with those ordinances, so they cannot be adopted the first time they are presented. After those are finalized, we are going to work on creating ordinances for our Parks and Recreation Department. That is something that we do not have currently, but John Davis believes it is good, and the Sheriff's Office is in support of those because that gives them extra teeth in those parks that the county owns. And we are still working on the environmental ordinances. So those will be coming to you in the near future. Any questions?
Does any commissioner have anything to report? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to recognize Boy Scout Troop 74. They're here completing some of their merit badge requirements. So if y'all want to stand up, stand back, boys.
Where are they located at exactly?
74 is located at Ryan Heights. Y'all Methodist now, or just Ryan Heights Church? It's over on Madison Street.
We were trying to give them the opportunity for public speaking, but nobody took us up on that one. So I have some things to report. Earlier in the month, David and I attended the NACO conference in Washington, D.C. It was very interesting. We attended the first time introduction to policy explainer breakfast. There were over 500 people at that breakfast. We attended some economic development policy steering committee portions of it. We attended the North Carolina caucus, where it was just North Carolina commissioners. We attended a resilient county advisory board and crisis communication, which was very interesting, hearing the aspect of things, how from California with the wildfires, plus commissioners from the western end of the county with the hurricane, and how things took place and communication, and how to have positive communication and have correct communication was a big key. Then we also attended a county administrative idea exchange, which was very interesting to see how other members of the counties exchange ideas and things they're doing. Some notable speakers that we listened to were the U.S. Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Doug Collins, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, U.S. Senator Sam Graves, and then the Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of the White House Office Intergovernmental Affairs, Alex Mayer. It was very interesting to see, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conference and learned a lot in it. And I actually brought each one of you guys back a gift. So what the gift is, at the breakfast, they were giving out a pill item with the NACO label on it. So I'm sharing that with my fellow commissioners. So they.
Because as you get old, you really need these bad. And you're not suggesting I might be really old.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I was just looking out for everybody. So.
The man over here shaking his head like he knows what I'm talking about, don't you?
So I thought I would bring back some goodies for you guys. They were at some of the handouts. So, but I will yield the floor to David to talk about an activity that he and I did and witnessed. I got to see something very cool.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So, I'll try not to be a full storyteller like I can be, but I will say on Monday of the conference, A lot of because it was our first time attending, so a lot of the counties go to Capitol Hill to discuss issues that they're currently involved in. And so being our first time there, that was a little bit beyond what we were familiar with. We kind of was watching and learning. So that afternoon, after those morning sessions were over, Chairman and I decided to at least benefit from being in Washington, D.C., because it was the one window that we had. So we decided to go down to the mall and look at the Washington Monument. But what we wanted to do was go to the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, because that just was exciting. They have the original flag that was at Fort McHenry that flew there, Star Spangled Banner. That was just absolutely amazing. And I just can't describe the sensation of standing there before the flag. But what I found even more intriguing, and this is what I want to share with the board, was as we were walking through looking at the different wars of the United States, we were standing there at a moment and there was a sword that was it was an intricately displayed sword that had beautiful filigree on it, handle, pommel, all this. And it was just captivating. And we're sitting here looking at it, and I'm showing it to Commissioner Lineberger. I said, look at this sword, isn't this beautiful? And the placard was off to the side. So as it turned and we looked at the placard, what we realized was that was the sword of Major General Benjamin Lincoln. And what became phenomenal about that sword was it talked about that he was a second in command of General Washington, and that during the siege of Yorktown, when Cornwallis surrendered, Washington assigned his second in command, Major General Benjamin Lincoln, who our county's named after, to accept the surrender of Cornwallis. And they had a beautiful display there of the historical facts, but it was amazing to see in one of the most prestigious history museums in the United States, the sword of the general who our county's named after sitting there so prominently. And it was really inspiring to just walk upon it, and not everybody's sword was there, I'll put it that way. So I just want to say it was amazing. And that was done on October 19th of 1781 during that surrender. So thank you.
Right.
Let me share that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add? All right, then we'll move on to vacancies and appointments. Commissioner Mullen will present.
Chairman Lineberger, I'd like to make the following appointments for the planning board. I'd like to appoint Christopher Osborne for the at-large seat number 4 for his initial term. Beverly King for the Lincoln seat for her initial term. And I'd like to reappoint to the Dangerous Dog Appellate Board, Michael Chase Harding for his first term.
Okay, is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion. Any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, they are approved. Now we have other business. Is there any other business to come before the board at this time? All right, we will move on to item 21, closed session. Whoever entertains the motion, if you would, please read the statute to go along with that motion.
Make a motion to enter in closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 to consult with an attorney employed by or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged.
Okay.
I make that motion.
All right, we have a motion for closed session. Any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right, we are in closed session. Okay, we are back in open session.
Chairman Lineberger, I'd like to make a motion to enter into, for our county manager, Mr. Madden, to enter into a agreement for up to $225,000 for professional services at 911.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. So the motion is for County Manager Madden to be approved for $225,000 for professional services under contract. And now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, sir.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right, we are adjourned.